That's Keenan Dewsbury Hall, one of 6 Chelsea players making their full debut tonight in a much-changed lineup to the one beaten here by Manchester City at the weekend. Chelsea back in action, incidentally, on Sunday. They go to Wolverhampton Wanderers. You'll get updates from there during the Sunday session, along with Bournemouth against Newcastle. And the big game at Anfield, where Liverpool host Brentford in Arne Slot's first home game in charge. Adrian Durham in for Sam Matterface this weekend from 1:30 on Talksport. Over on Talksport 2 at 3 o'clock on Sunday. It's Swansea against Cardiff in a big South Wales derby. We are just about set here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea in their blue shirts, blue shorts and white socks. Look like they're going to shoot from right to left in this first half of proceedings. Servette in the white jerseys, white shorts and those maroon socks will be attacking the shed end away. To our right, both sets of players are gathered in huddles on the centre circle. I have to say, despite the fact there are plenty of empty seats, Scott Minto, it's a decent enough atmosphere in here.
It's a good atmosphere, and obviously the Swiss fans, whether they live in London or whether they've flown over, this is a wonderful opportunity to come to a massive Premier League club and really enjoy the atmosphere of that. And yeah, it's taken a bit of time getting up to kick off for all the fans to come in, but you're right, the numbers are here, it's not that sparse, and they're creating a good atmosphere.
Well, we are off and underway. This place has seen many more illustrious European nights over the course of Chelsea's rich history in continental competition, but it feels like an important one for the new man in the dugout and the owners from watching on high. Lots of criticism has come the way of Todd Boehly and his boardroom colleagues. Can Chelsea send out a positive message this evening? They are in possession, as we would expect for much of the 90 minutes. And a reminder once again, the Chelsea 11 as follows: Jorgensen making his debut in goal, Disasi, Tosin, Badiashile and Renato Vega the back four, Caicedo and Dewsbury Hall in a two-man midfield in front of them, with Mudryk and Kunku, Pedro Neto all in behind Mark Guiu, the 18-year-old leading the line up front. Good play from Mudryk, keeping the ball in on this near side, and immediately Dewsbury Hall will come forward, but he's been dispossessed by David Dulin. They've won it back though, and Guiu's rounded the goalkeeper, and somehow it stays out. Well, he did the first bit right, Guiu, rounding the advancing Jeremy Frick after Servette had given the ball away right on the edge of their penalty area, and he just overcooked it. Almost collided with the post as he tried desperately to keep the ball in play, and it trickles wide for a goal kick.
Oh, it's one of those cricket, it really is. He does so well, first of all, when he received the ball, and then he got it again, and he's just gone past the keeper, and he's just nicked it a bit too far. You can see his legs going as fast as they possibly could. The ball's going the other side of the post, so he knows he's got to get that touch. And can he get there before the ball goes out of play? He can't, but it's been a great start so far for him and for Chelsea.
Yeah, big chance for Chelsea inside 2 minutes. Guiu, who doesn't turn 19 until January, got a couple of goals for Barcelona last season before that £5 million move. What an opportunity to get his Chelsea career off and running.
Do you know what? He did really well in pre-season as well when he played. You know, he looks like he's got something about him. Not only is he technically good, and he's quite strong, he's a good finisher, and you can see he's pretty confident in himself, which is obviously what you need when you move to Chelsea right now.
He's a big physical specimen as well. Here comes Servette down their left-hand side with Contessa, their danger man, as we were hearing with Lee Phelps earlier. 5 goals already this season, scored in each of his last 2 games, but he's quickly robbed of possession by Axel Disasi down that right-hand side. And here come Chelsea building with Nkunku. He sprints away from one challenge and then has the ball nicked away by the sliding Undua, but the referee says free kick, and Chelsea take that quickly. Out to the right-hand side they go. Pedro Neto with pace to burn, crosses into the penalty area, and it got a nick off a Servette defender, diverted it away from his goalkeeper, but away from danger as well. And the wolf whistles are because the goalkeeper, Jeremy Frick, the captain, is down, and that prevents Chelsea getting a shot on goal. Scott Minto.
Yeah, good play from Neto, showing his pace down the right-hand side. And there's obviously a collision there with Frick and probably one of his defenders. But again, Chelsea looking to be really very much on the front foot, which is exactly what they should be. You know, absolutely Chelsea should be winning this game, and pretty clearly, and putting the tie to bed, as we spoke about that a little bit earlier. But that's exactly what they're trying to do, and the intent is right. But do you know what? We were talking about the formation, and I just couldn't believe that it would be like a 4-2-3-1, especially on a night like this against Servette. And I'm absolutely not surprised. We saw this at Leicester as well. Kiernan Dewsbury Hall is actually pushing on, and sometimes even becoming the second striker. Christopher Nkunku is like a 10 as well. So the two 8s are really kind of pushed forward. And it's Renato Vega, the left back, who could also play in midfield. He's the one pushing in alongside Caicedo. So at times it's 3 at the back. There's the 2 holders, and then there's a flurry of attacking players, and you can see why at this moment in time Servette just don't know what to do, don't know how to stick or twist.
Yeah, it was actually Vega who picked up possession on the edge of the penalty area when that last Chelsea attack was halted because of the injury to Frick. He's been treated away to our left and is now back on his feet. Play back underway. 5 minutes gone here on Talksport 2, live from Stamford Bridge, the only national radio station bringing you live commentary of this game. And it's Chelsea 0, Servette 0, but it's been a positive start from the home team. Tosin with the long raking diagonal out towards Pedro Neto, flicked back towards his own goal by the Congolese left back Bradley Mazikou, and it's picked up by Frick inside the penalty area.
Interesting as well that it's Mudryk on the left hand side, Pedro on the right. I think both probably prefer to play on the left. Well, when Pedro Neto came on Sunday, he couldn't really get in the game. I expect him to tonight, whatever side he's on.
Apparently had Guillou put the ball in the back of the net. The suggestion is that he may well have been flagged offside anyway with that early opportunity. We don't have the benefit of a monitor on this Conference League night here at Stamford Bridge, but that's what we're being told from back at base anyway. 0-0 the score. You mentioned Renato Vega. He played against Servette for Basel last season before his £12 million move to Stamford Bridge. In fact, Basel were the visitors' most recent league opponents, and they lost 6-0, so confidence won't be particularly high. They did bounce back with a big victory in the Swiss Cup after that. As a throw-in is put into the Chelsea penalty area and swept away by Vega, but not convincingly, and then the ball dinked back into the box by Ondua. Just for a moment, as the ball sails onto the roof of the net, Jorgensen was a bit flat-footed at his near post.
Yeah, just got to stay aware. It's been all Chelsea in the first 5 or so minutes. At the moment the ball does go in the Chelsea box, the Chelsea defenders, and Jorgensen in particular, need to be on their toes. Well, he is one in particular who's joined the club, and we've all heard how good he is with his feet. Well, still, the first thing of a goalkeeper is to keep the ball out the back of the net, whether it's your feet or your hands, but want to make sure he's absolutely on the ball, because he won't see much of it tonight.
He was top of the charts in terms of the highest number of saves in La Liga last season when he was playing at Villarreal, the Danish goalkeeper for Chelsea. Of course, Robert Sanchez started here against Manchester City at the weekend. Maybe could have done better for the second goal from Kovacic.
Definitely could have done better.
So there is going to be a battle for that number 1 jersey. Chelsea in possession inside their own half, with Tosin making his debut tonight after that free transfer from across West London at Fulham. And here's Pedro Neto well forward, and he dinks it out to the left hand side, and Mikhailo Mudryk forward to Dewsbury Hall, who's been full of endeavour in these opening 8 minutes, getting up and joining the attack. And now Chelsea have played it back into the centre circle, so Tosin takes over once again. 0-0 the score. You're listening to Talksport 2 on this very warm Thursday evening. Chelsea looking to build up a decent lead to take into the second leg in Switzerland in a week's time. The draw for the league phase of the Conference League takes place next Friday. It will be a big surprise and put big pressure on Enzo Maresca early in his tenure, if Chelsea weren't very much part of that draw, but haven't found the breakthrough yet, despite plenty of good passages of play early on.
Surprise isn't the word, Crooking. It'll be a massive shock, one of the biggest shocks.
Tosin finds Nkunku, dropping deep into midfield again and running at the Servette back line, finding Dewsbury Hall, who moves it forward looking for Mudryk, and there was a last-ditch tackle coming in from Rouier, the veteran at the heart of the Servette defence. And Chelsea have a throw on this near side, which will be taken by the full debutant Vega. Chelsea fans in good voice early on as Vega bowls the ball downfield towards Guillou. Can't hold it up on this occasion, and it's going to be chipped forward by Doulin. But again, Chelsea win it back in rapid time. And speaking of rapid, here comes Pedro Neto down the Chelsea right. Good challenge again there from Mazikou, and it's going to be another Chelsea throw over on the far side, round about level with the penalty spot. Still goalless here on Talksport 2. Don't forget, Saturday game day, live from the Amex, Brighton against Manchester United, a ground where the Red Devils have come unstuck on more than one occasion in recent years. Sam Matterface and Darren Bent will be calling the action there, and at 3 o'clock here on Talksport 2 we have live and exclusive commentary of the champions Manchester City against Premier League new boys Ipswich Town. Ipswich beaten at Liverpool last Saturday live on Talksport, and Chelsea went down 2-0 here against City 24 hours later. They have possession, the Blues, on the edge of their own penalty area, initially with the goalkeeper Jorgensen, and now Caicedo wearing the captain's armband, the Ecuadorian. And it's left for Tosin to slowly come forward towards halfway. Servette happy to have everybody pretty much camped inside their own half, Scott Minto.
Yeah, I think we've seen more of Pedro Neto just in his first 10 minutes than we did the whole time when he came on at the weekend. Looking dangerous. I have to say the left back Mazikou did really well, because Neto, he just put the ball about 10 yards ahead and sprinted after it, and to keep up with him is no mean feat. But Chelsea very much on the front foot for sure.
Here's Mudryk, who started well as well, hurdles a couple of challenges, plays the ball into the feet of Guiu. Caicedo swept off his feet, but play on, says the referee, because Chelsea is still coming forward. On the right, Neto with a cross in towards Guiu, who's almost facing away from goal, tried to head it backwards and it just bounces away, and Servette get it clear. Dangerous cross again though from Pedro Neto over on that right hand side. Once again Servette don't keep possession for too many passes. Dewsbury Hall back towards the halfway line, and Badiashile, who's well forward. He in turn rolls it across the back forward to Axel Disasi, and it's only Jorgensen, the goalkeeper, and now Tosin, who's joined him, back inside the Chelsea half away to our right hand side. The game being played almost exclusively in Servette territory.
Well, we're going to get that. We're going to get sometimes it's going to be attack versus defence, and it's understandably so. It's a great opportunity for these players to really gain a lot of confidence, to open up the Servette defence. I think once the first one comes, and if it comes certainly in the first half, I can see them getting 2-3, maybe even more than that. But the longer it goes on at 0-0, at the moment the fans are really happy with what they're seeing, and rightly so, being very patient. If the Servette are able to get to half-time, then it will just start to ask questions, not just in terms of the Chelsea players, but the Chelsea crowd as well.
Mudryk linking up with Vega down the Chelsea left-hand side. Again, they go back towards the halfway point. And Nkunku's dropped very deep in these first 12 minutes, picks it up inside the centre circle. They need to keep him fit this season. It's only his 4th Chelsea start, and Nkunku had all kinds of injury issues that kept him out of the team for long periods last term.
He's like a new signing, isn't he? Lavia, another one as well.
Yeah, he played well at the weekend, Romeo Lavia, one of the bright sparks for Chelsea. Servette in possession, but inside their own territory. Stefanovic plays it forward, and picked up by Ondua, and he in turn rolls it out to the left-hand side, and the left-back Mazikou, probably their longest spell of keeping the ball here, the Swiss visitors. And as I say that, they pass it straight to Mudryk, who gives it away cheaply on the edge of his own penalty area, and Vega has to slide in initially to stop the loose ball reaching Stefanovic. Stefanovic does get across into the box and is headed up, but not really away by Tosin. Vega completes the clearance, and then Guiu is a bit reckless in possession, but promptly wins it back and finds Caicedo, and Nkunku prods it away from Mazikou. Pedro Neto's quick, but he's not quite quick enough to get on the end of that, and it's all the way back with the captain Frick inside the 18-yard box, 0-0. Yeah,
again, Mazikou, the left-back, does really well. He realised he's got to try and engage, and even though he didn't get there before Caicedo, he was able to make sure that the Chelsea standing captain this evening wasn't able to put Neto in. If he was, especially with his pace, he would have been through on goal almost.
Ondua with a volley pass over the top of the Chelsea defence, setting Contessa away. Contessa does well to pluck it from the Stamford Bridge sky. Suddenly it's Servette's turn to show a bit of attacking intent 14 minutes into the game, 0-0. Mazaku and Kutesa looking to limp up on that far side, and they do pretty well of it as well. Maybe a chance to get across into the area here. Mazaku marauding forward. Kutesa's dropped a little bit deeper, just to the edge of the area. Good spell this from the Swiss. And maybe a chance to get a shot away. Kutesa rolls the ball into the penalty area. He's got it back. The main man for Servette. It's a tight angle, but he does get his shot off, and it needed saving by Jorgensen. And the ball spoons behind for the first Servette corner of the evening. You can hear the roar from the travelling supporters to our left. That was a good period of play.
Really good, really good. First of all, they kept the ball, and then they were able to get inside the box. And you're right, Kutesa, who has got 4 goals in the last 7, he tested Jorgensen there, didn't he? Decent save from the keeper.
Timothy Cognac to take this corner from the right-hand side. You feel set pieces, probably Servette's best opportunities to cause an upset here at Stamford Bridge. Needs a good delivery here. No experienced midfielder. He's played it short to Kutesa on the edge of the area. Kutesa trying to dribble away from Guiu, who did well there, sliding in. It's behind for another corner though. A little bit of pressure being applied here.
Well, it shows they've got quality players, of that there's no doubt. They're technical, they're more than decent. Kutesa has already looked very dangerous. Haven't seen Timothy Cognac yet, who is arguably the best player in the Swiss league. But Chelsea just need to be careful defensively.
And you wonder if he might whip this delivery into the penalty area. Kutesa again has offered himself for the short ball, but it is a bit more direct, but it's headed away by Guiu at the near post. Picked up by the Japanese Tsunemoto on the edge of the box, and recycled back out to Cognac on the right hand side. That's a decent looking ball into the area, headed away by Moises Caicedo, and now Chelsea may be able to counter. Vega, who can play on either flank, doesn't take the opportunity to come forward on the right hand side, and Chelsea will build from deep. 0-0 with 16 minutes gone, but just a little bit of concern last couple of minutes for Enzo Maresca, the bold-headed Chelsea head coach, who was twice a UEFA Cup winner during his playing days with Sevilla. He's out on the edge of the technical area, arms outstretched. Just looks a little bit concerned, because again Servette have won the ball high up the field with Mazaku, finding Kutesa. They're growing in confidence here, the Swiss side at Stamford Bridge. Kutesa running it to Sassi, playing it to the edge of the penalty area. Plenty of blue shirts back there, and it was blocked by Dewsbury Hall as Cognac let fly, but still Servette in possession, and Chelsea at the moment are pinned back inside their own half, Scott Minter.
Yes, they are. After the first 10-15 minutes where Chelsea were in full control, Servette realise they can do something here.
Good ball over the top to Stefanovic, and Vega sliding in powerfully. Turns it behind for another corner. He passed the ball well at times in the last few minutes, and that was a decent piece of defending from Renato Vega.
Yeah, Mazaku just nipped in before the ball got to Pedro Neto. And Neto, we know how good he is going forward and how quick. And Mazaku looks like he's up for the fight here, and a marauding left back, and certainly started that move for Servette.
Another corner then, third of the game, all for the visitors. Timothy Cognac over it, right-footed towards the near post again, doesn't beat the first man. Guiu, who volleys it away left-footed, is out of play for a Servette throw right in front of Enzo Maresca, the Chelsea manager. Thomas Haberle, the Servette boss, to his left, wearing a pair of white trainers and grey trousers and dark jumper. Former Estonia head coach, so plenty of experience in that dugout. I think after riding the early Chelsea storm, he'll be pretty pleased with the way his team have grown into the game. We played 18 minutes and we await the first goal. Come on Chelsea is the cry, and you can just sense the home supporters getting a bit agitated with this spell of pressure that Servette are currently forcing upon them.
Now it's not actually about trying to attack, it's just keeping the ball, and they're just quieting the Chelsea crowd at the moment.
We welcome listeners from Talksport at this point. We've played 18 minutes, it's Chelsea 0, Servette 0. Chelsea started like a train, could have been in front inside 2 minutes mark. Guiu rounded the goalkeeper, but couldn't get his shot on target. May have been offside anyway, but Servette in the last 4 or 5 minutes have started to ask some questions of the Chelsea backline. The home fans just beginning to voice their frustration as Mudryk bundles over Stevanovic down the right-hand side. It's going to be a free kick here in a promising position, 0-0.
He doesn't need to make that challenge. You know, he's going towards the corner flag. He knows he wants a bit of physical contact. Goes down, and now it's the equivalent of a corner, I have to say. After me bigging up Timothy Kanyat and how good a player he is, his set pieces have been poor, but they can't keep on giving away these type of set pieces in these dangerous areas, Chelsea.
Well, it's not Kanyat on this free kick, it's the Yugoslav Stevanovic, just shy of the right corner flag, so they've got 6 players up for the attack. Again, it's towards that far post area, but the first head on it was a Chelsea one. Here's Mazaku, the left back, linking up with Katessa, and he's continued his run. Mazaku tries to cut it back. He got a deflection off Disassi, and that allows Chelsea to clear the ball towards the halfway line. We play 20 minutes, and it's Chelsea 0, Servette 0. Pedro Neto back there in the right back position, trying to close down Katessa and winning a throw for his team.
And look, you know, it doesn't matter who you're playing at this type of level in a European competition. You're not going to dominate the game for the whole of the 90 minutes, but I think Maresca will be disappointed just how the last 5, 6, 7 minutes have gone, where they started off so well, and now not only are Servette able to get into Chelsea's half, but they've created a couple of chances. They've already tested Jorgensen, and now they're feeling confident enough to just kind of keep the ball and dictate the tempo of the game. That shouldn't be happening for Chelsea.
Well, the team they sent out here against City at the weekend was the second youngest opening day lineup in Premier League history, and I guess it's one of the issues when your modus operandi in the transfer market is to invest in up-and-coming young players. You can spread the payments over a long contract and maybe have a bit of sell-on value as well, but you do need some senior heads in there when maybe things aren't going so well.
Well, especially when this is a club that all been about the here and now, the senior pros.
Long throw into the Chelsea penalty area. Not brilliant defending by Disassi. Flicks it up in the air, and the shot comes in from Servette, and Katessa with a follow-up effort. Saved down to the right by Jorgensen. I think the initial chance was probably the better one. It may well have been David Dulin, who just miscued his shot, but it was poor defending from Disassi in the first place, not clearing the cross.
Yeah, and the danger is, or you know, what we're seeing at the moment now is Servette are the better side. So again, it's one thing to create chances, another thing against it, with all due respect, a side that, as you say, got hammered 6-0 by Basel not that long ago, to come here and start dictating the tempo of the play. And now the midfielders have to get on the ball. Moises Caicedo as well, the standing captain this evening. You know, he's that main linchpin just in front of the back four, the back three when Vega comes in. Got to get hold of the ball, got to say, no, this is about us now, we're going back on the front foot again, and then try and get the ball out wide if they possibly can, where we know that Mudryk and certainly Neto have great pace and surely should trouble these fullbacks.
Well, the noise you can hear inside Stamford Bridge is largely being generated by those travelling Servette fans away to our left. Many of them have taken their shirts off. It is a warm night in London.
You're going to do the same?
Plenty of beer bellies on display. You wouldn't want to see that, not again. You saw it in Tenerife.
I did see that more than once. Still having nightmares about it.
We've reached the midway point of the first half here. You're listening to Talksport 2, Chelsea 0, Servette 0. A night when Chelsea were expected to win comfortably. They started brightly enough, but Servette have looked threatening in the last few moments. Here's Dewsbury Hall, though, finding Mudryk inside the penalty area as he tried to flick it across the 6-yard line. Ruier was there, and Chelsea have their first corner of the game.
Better from Chelsea. And Dewsbury Hall getting involved in there. It was a really good first-time ball. And Mudryk not quite able to carry on and flick on the cross, but at least now it's down the other end, and Chelsea have a corner and a chance to try and score the first goal.
And only Moises Caicedo has been left back downfield, keeping an eye on Derek Katessa in case there was an opportunity for a counter-attack from this corner. Looks like Nkunku is going to play it in, right-footed towards the 6-yard line. Goalkeeper came and didn't get there, and it was headed behind for another corner. Enzo Crivelli, the striker we've barely mentioned so far, back defending. He wasn't convinced by the goalkeeper on that set piece. And Chelsea with a corner from the far right-hand side this time. Pedro Neto just bounces the ball down a couple of times. The £54 million signing from Wolverhampton Wanderers. 10 assists last season for him. Takes the corner short into Mudryk. Mudryk with the curling cross from the far right-hand side, and it's Just about cleared away at the second time of asking, collected by Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, who's nipped it away on this left-hand side from his marker. It's a teasing ball into the near post again. The goalkeeper, I don't think, was going to get there, and it's headed behind for another Chelsea corner. Good spell, this.
Yeah, absolutely, and it was Badiashile who almost got in there. The Dewsbury-Hall starting to be a little bit more influential in the game. Showed a good bit of pace, a little bit deflection on the cross.
I'm not sure what that corner was all about. Pedro Neto spotted something nobody else did. Played it into nobody on the edge of the penalty area, and Servette clear up to the halfway line.
That was ridiculous, wasn't it? You know what Pedro Neto was thinking. There was no one even giving him the eyes, the contact, saying, yeah, I'm ready for it, and he's tried to play a quick one and just completely lost the opportunity of a possible goal for Chelsea.
6 corners already, 3 apiece, 0-0 the score, 25 minutes gone on Talksport 2. Chelsea have lost only 2 of their last 14 Premier League home games. Of course, one of those was against City at the weekend, but they were on a decent run under Mauricio Pochettino here at Stamford Bridge at the back end of last season. And but for Manchester United's somewhat surprise FA Cup win over City, they would have gone straight into the Europa League by virtue of finishing 6th in the table, but dropped down into the Conference League playoffs, with United taking that spot in the Europa. Here comes Servette, with Contessa leading the charge down their left-hand side. 0-0 the score. Well defended by Dewsbury-Hall. He's got a good engine on him. One of Leicester City's key players as they won promotion back to the Premier League last season. Player, of course, Enzo Maresca knows well. Here's Nkunku on the halfway line for Chelsea. Neto, Rise the challenger one defender, plays the ball into the centre circle, and Vega, collected by Badiashile, out to the left-hand side to the Ukrainian Mudryk. A couple of step overs from him as he comes infield towards the penalty area. Plays a 1-2 with Crivelli, the Servette striker, and it's collected now down the left-hand side by Vega. Some flashes tonight, Mykhailo Mudryk, but again there, gave the ball away too cheaply in a promising position. I guess that's somewhat been the story of his Stamford Bridge career.
Yeah, you know, there's no doubt about it. He's got pace, he's got skill, and he's just got the football intelligence.
Little back heel into Dewsbury-Hall ahead of him on this near side. Dewsbury-Hall really wastes a pass, finds Badiashile, now Caicedo the skipper. Disasi to his right hand side. Neto is hugging that far touchline, and Disasi's found him. Neto coming in on his left foot, back to Caicedo once more, right in the centre of the Servette half. 27 on the clock, we await the first goal of the evening. Here's Tosin, number 4 on his back. Squad numbers have been a hot topic in these parts over the last week or so. Neto's had 2 in 2 games. Wore the number 19 jerseys. He came off the bench in the Premier League at the weekend. That was once inhibited by Broja. Here's Neto now wearing 7, taking on the left back Mazikou, but they're firing across tamely into the side netting for a goal kick for the visitors.
Do you know what I have to say? Really good defending from Mazikou there. I mean, he's been done for pace, but he showed him down the outside, and Neto being left-footed, you know, he kind of stopped and wanted to come back inside again, and in the end Mazikou didn't let him do that, so he's tried to cross with his right foot, and it's been a really poor cross. So again, good defending from the left back, and Neto has to find a way to, once he goes past him, either put a decent cross in on his right foot, find a way to come inside on his left.
This is Moises Caicedo for Chelsea, just inside his own half. He rolls the ball out to the left, and Badiashile. Now Tosin picks out Neto on the far right touchline. Mudryk's in acres of space on this near left-hand side if they choose to switch the play. Badiashile looks up and belatedly plays the pass to the feet of the Ukrainian. Good ball forward to Guillou, holds it up well, picked up by Mudryk. Mudryk with a shot right-footed. Low, but wide of the near post. And quickly accelerated onto the loose ball after it had been well held up by Guillou. I wonder, Scott Minto, if he could have taken an extra touch before getting the shot away.
Well, I think he could have done. And I think it was Nkunku as well, was alongside him, where he could have passed to him. And look, I don't blame him necessarily for having the shot, but once you're on the edge of the box, get into the box with that touch. Because there's going to have to be some strike to beat the goalkeeper from there. I just feel he did really well initially with the skill and playing it into Guiu, and he followed his run. But again, I think that's the problem with him. He's got all the attributes, but has he got the football intelligence? Has he got the composure to know in the real crucial moment, what do I need to do here? Do I shoot? Do I take a touch and shoot? Or do I take a touch, bring the defender in and then pass it? And I think he ended up making the wrong option.
It looked like the goalkeeper, Frick, to be fair, had that right hand post covered.
Yeah, he did.
Still yet to be seriously tested, the Servette captain, which I think would be a source of frustration for Enzo Maresca. Lovely switch of play by the visitors out to the left hand side. Coutessa is dispossessed by Neto, and now Dasassi, the right fullback, takes over, plays it back into his own penalty area.
Well, the stats suggest that was the first shot on or off target for Chelsea. I think that's a little bit harsh with what happened with Guiu in the first couple of minutes, but even so.
Yeah, it wasn't really a shot though, was it? He almost just ran it wide of the post in the end.
But, came very close to a goal. But whether you count it, whether you don't, I don't think it's been enough in the first half an hour after what was a very good start in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, still goalless. I think Servette would have settled for that at the half an hour mark, and they've certainly offered glimpses going forward to suggest that maybe this Chelsea clean sheet that many of us were expecting is not necessarily assured. Here's Tsunemoto, the Japanese fullback. Good delivery, and it flashed right across the 6-yard line. Crivelli was up there, the centre forward, but just rolled away from him. Kept in play by Coutessa on that left touchline. Here's Mazikou. He's impressed me, wearing the bright orange boots, the Congolese international. Done a good job actually up against Pedro Neto, and has done well at forcing Chelsea's new number 7 back towards his own penalty box as well, which is not necessarily where he wants to be. Here is Konya on that far touchline. Mazikou fronted up by Axel Dasassi, so he plays it out to Coutessa on the left. Coutessa 1-2 with Konya. Here's Mazikou again. He's got a bit of space on the edge of the penalty area. Didn't look necessarily comfortable bringing it forward, so he rolls it out to the right hand side, and Tsunemoto once more, and that's a poor pass into Guiu, and this is where Chelsea can really move up through the gears. And Kunku to Mudryk, edge of the penalty, and maybe should have switched it wide right there to Pedro Neto. He gets it finally from Mudryk, and he's going to shift onto his left foot, Pedro Neto, and he shoots it straight into the arms of the goalkeeper. Powerful enough effort, but it's never really going to trouble Frick. Decent breakaway from Chelsea, but it's still goalless.
Yeah, a good play for Mudryk there, you have to say. Kunku gave him the ball, and it was a little bit behind him, so it gave the defender the opportunity to come back. So then what does he do? We'll talk about that football intelligence. Does he try to take him on? No, he realises Neto's in a very good position on the other side. He passes it to him, good pass. And Neto, again, I talked about trying to find a way to come inside. He did it there, and at least he was able to get a shot off. It was straight at the keeper. But I think it's a good attempt from Chelsea.
Here they come again, but sliding out was Frick before Pedro Neto could get on the end of the pass. Arrowed into him by Dewsbury Hall. That's more like it as far as Chelsea are concerned. They'll really want a goal before half-time. Here is Tsunemoto. Got space to run into on the Servette right-hand side. Mudryk back there now, but cuts in field Tsunemoto to Stefanovic. Tsunemoto again, yard in from the touchline. Stefanovic got a bit of space, and Mudryk didn't really track him this time, and the cross all the way along the 6-yard line again. Coutessa tries to keep it in, and the goalkeeper Jorgensen comes out bravely and smuggles the ball at the feet of the Servette left winger.
Tell you what, another great ball in from the right, just almost David Beckham-esque, whipping it in between the defenders and the goalkeeper. Jorgensen can't come out, centre half scared to touch it, and in the end it goes out to the right hand side where Dasassi does really well. Chelsea coming back in control, but Servette do look dangerous at times, don't they?
I think it's been a really enterprising and entertaining opening 33 minutes, and certainly more even than probably we expected when you look at Servette's recent form, and that 6-0 defeat against Basel in particular. They won the Swiss Super Cup last season. In fact, their history in the last couple of decades is fascinating. 17 times champions of Switzerland, most recently back in 1999. They did drop at one stage all the way into the third tier due to financial issues. Here's Guillou, edge of the Servette penalty area, tried to smuggle it forward to Nkunku, who goes down, but there was no real appeal for a penalty, and the goalkeeper, Frick, picks up the loose ball and bowls it out quickly, too quickly, as it turned out for Cognac, and Mudryk wins it back for Chelsea 0-0.
Yeah, good defender from Maria there. He realised Nkunku just tried to get in between the two centre-halves and just blocked him off. Chelsea fans wanting a penalty, but it wasn't. Referee right on the spot. Correct decision.
They had a few appeals here, didn't they, against City at the weekend. Anthony Taylor, referee, is not adored by the home supporters, it has to be said, but I think he got the big calls right on Sunday. As Enzo Maresca got the big calls right tonight in terms of his team selection with those 9 changes, 6 full debutants, but clear-cut chances have been in short supply in the opening 35 minutes. Here's Mudryk, juggles the ball up on his thigh on the right-hand side, and then shows too much of it to Stefanovic, and he will volley it up towards the centre circle, where Crivelli does well, actually. It's a beat Caicedo in the air. It's been a pretty lonely job for the sole striker for the Swiss visitors so far. Here's Stefanovic just inside Chelsea territory on the near right wing as we look.
Yeah, Crivelli's not touched the ball too much, but he knows he's gone away from home against one of the giants, certainly reputation-wise, of European football.
I'm not sure what the goalkeeper was doing there on the edge of his own penalty area. Almost dispossessed by Guillou in the end. The ball spoons off the teenager and out for a throw-in for the visitors.
It's almost they're too confident because they're comfortable with what's happening in front of them at the moment. And Jeremy Frick, very experienced, of course. He's almost a bit too casual there, and Marc Guillou does really well, almost getting lucky in terms of getting the knockdown and being able to put the ball in the back of the net. But I think it just shows how the Swiss side are feeling very confident right now.
And they would certainly have taken a goalless first half. We're still 9 minutes away from that. Oh, and a mistake there, almost by Badiashile, far too casual as he played the ball back towards Jorgensen, who was a long way off his line. He had to sprint to make sure he got there before it trickled into his net.
I'll tell you what, Jorgensen wasn't even looking at that time. It's lucky he didn't absolutely hammer that one, Badiashile, otherwise that would have gone in, own goal.
And what a moment that would have been. You could feel the nerves around Stamford Bridge. Certainly in the home sections anyway. Here is Jorgensen, the £20.7 million signing from Villarreal. Comes right into the centre of the Chelsea half and then plays it out to the right into Sassi. They've gone back for Badiashile. Dewsbury Hall showed a bit too much of that to Dulin, and then he's maybe a bit overzealous in the tackle. Dulin has come off worse, and it's going to be a free kick for Servette. He is combative, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. It's one of those, I think, where he was guilty of a heavy first touch in trying to atone for the error. Just went a bit over the top of the ball.
Yeah, the ball wasn't quite the best of balls from Vega, so he was stretching in the first place to try and get the ball under control. And Dulin was pressing really, really well, so he's kind of then just falling away and just stuck his leg out and caught him, but he's given away a free kick. And again, I wouldn't say it's in a really dangerous area, but if it's a really good ball that comes in, it certainly could be put in a dangerous area.
8 minutes of the first half to go, 0-0 the score. Timothy Cognac, who's been wasteful from the set piece he's taken so far, stands over the ball, wearing the white boots. That's a much better delivery, and it's headed from the edge of the penalty area straight into the gloves of Jorgensen. And that's more like it as far as Servette are concerned. And up from the back it was Rouillère with the header, but they're quickly retreating back towards their own area here because Mudryk was leading the counter-attack and he's passed it straight at Dulin. And here comes Servette on the counter. Contessa on the left-hand side, running at Disassi into the Chelsea penalty area. He's taken himself to a tight angle as he crosses towards the 6-yard line. It's swept away by Tosin. Really poor Mudryk on the counter-attack. Had to find a blue-shirted teammate and he couldn't. He's put his team under pressure here with 7 minutes and a half to go at 0-0.
I think it shows the confidence.
Tsunomoto's going to shoot from distance, takes a deflection off Tosin. And it's behind for a corner.
I was just about to say it shows the confidence of the Swiss side that when they won the ball back, the 6 players were running on, believing they could maybe get that first goal. And then the ball comes to Tsunomoto 35 yards out. And I'm thinking he's not going to shoot from there. And he does. Again, it just shows the confidence they're feeling right now.
Well, have more corners, the visitors, than Chelsea have so far.
Had more shots on goal as well.
Cognac to play it in. Right-footed from the left-hand side, and Guillou there doing his defensive duty at the near post. He's been good defending his own box, actually, Mark Guillou. He's a tall boy, as we mentioned early on. It's behind for another corner for Servette.
Yeah, I don't want to speak too soon. I'm not comparing, but Didier Drogba and Diego Costa were good in both boxes.
Ball played to the edge of the penalty area. Mazikou onto his right foot, drills the low shot in. It's cleared away by Dewsbury Hall, and Tsunomoto had to get there ahead of Pedro Neto and just cushioned the pass back to his goalkeeper Frick.
Do you know what? That was a great opportunity for Dewsbury Hall. If he'd able to see Pedro Neto, even just give him a 50-50 chance in a running race. And I'll tell you what, that last man of Servette was halfway in Chelsea's half. So if Neto got past him, would have been a 70-yard sprint straight to the keeper.
Ball played up to Crivelli. He in turn tries to roll it into the feet of Stefanovic on this near side. One back by Badiashile, who quickly picks out Jorgensen. Tosin forward to Caicedo, who's got a bit of room here in the centre of the park, and he spotted Dewsbury Hall ahead of him. Not a bad attempt to the ball over the top of the Servette defence, but goalkeeper Frick was alert and comes out and deals with it comfortably enough.
It was on, and it was a great run from Dewsbury Hall. Just Caicedo, he's very good in terms of mopping things up and starting attacks, 10-15 yard passes, but those sort of 40-50 yard passes, he's not really precise on it, and he should have been. There was a great opportunity for Dewsbury Hall to be in then if the pass was great.
Just realised on a social media post I wrote Chelsea against Servette as opposed to Servette. Many people thought they'd clean up tonight, Chelsea, but hasn't happened so far.
You did that on purpose there, didn't you?
4.5 minutes the first half to go. It's still 0-0, which I think in itself is a story here at Stamford Bridge.
Absolutely. I think after that start, the first 5 minutes, you're thinking, well, this could be at least 2 at half-time, but Servette have done really well, not just stemming the flow, but looking dangerous down Chelsea's end.
And they're looking dangerous again here with Ondua. Stefanovic has made a run to his right. Ondua comes infield, which I'm not sure was the right option, but they've kept possession. Tsunomoto forward into the feet of Cognac. And he in turn rolls it down the near touchline to Stefanovic. Tsunomoto with a cross again, easily dealt with a header clear by Tosin, and then Caicedo scoops it over the head of Cognac into Vega. Vega looking for Dewsbury Hall again. Forward it goes to Nkunku this time, but it's a bit of a hot potato at the moment as far as Chelsea are concerned. Here's Mazikou running towards the penalty area. Caicedo forced him back to halfway. Johan Severin forward. And now it's picked up inside the centre circle by Ondua, and there's a few wolf whistles from Chelsea supporters. As Douali arrows a lovely diagonal ball out to Contessa. Contessa taking on Sassi again and trying to curl a right-footed effort towards the corner. Well, he's found the corner, almost a corner flag in front of that Matthew Harding stand, and it's behind for a goal kick, and Contessa is annoyed with himself. He knows that was a half-decent opportunity.
I saw you in the Talksport Cup. That was one of your shots, that was, in the end. Well, he does look dangerous coming in off the left there, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think both players on that left-hand side, Mazikou and Contessa, have given Pedro Neto and Axel Disasi something to think about.
Well, they blend really well. Mazikou's a good defender, and he's left-footed, and then you've got Contessa, who plays on the left but is an inverted winger who can come inside, and Mazikou can bomb on, and despite them being away from home, he's happy to do that.
It's poor from Dewsbury Hall, passing the ball straight to Cognac. 3 against 4 here. Cognac into Stefanovic. Stefanovic, he needed to make the right final pass, looking for Crivelli. It's too close to Jorgensen, but again, poor in possession there, Chelsea. More groans from the home supporters. 2 minutes plus stoppage time to play in this first half. Incredibly, it's still Chelsea 0, Servette 0, and you could argue that the Swiss side have looked more likely to open the scoring over the course of the 43 minutes. Here's Guillou trying to change that, running powerfully into the penalty area, and Nkunku gets a shot away. Sliding challenge was from Severin, and that takes the ball looping into the arms of Jeremy Flick. When they have gone up through the gears and they've got players forward, Chelsea, Servette look vulnerable at the back.
Well, they do, but Chelsea also do look vulnerable as well, and it's not as if Jeremy Frick, the Servette goalkeeper, is holding onto the ball and trying to time waste. He throws the ball down the middle, and suddenly Servette have the possibility of having an attack themselves. Giving as good as they're getting.
I was reading the preview for this game on the Chelsea website. They were crowing about the fact that in terms of European trophies won, they are England's second most successful team. 8 times they've been crowned continental winners of one competition or another, but they haven't looked like a team rich in European history tonight, that's for sure.
Well, look, they have a great opportunity, wonderful opportunity to make that number 9, but yeah, this moment in time, coming up to half-time, playing at home, Servette decide to be absolutely delighted with the scoreline so far.
They have won both their 2 previous European playoffs, Chelsea, both in the Champions League. Second leg of this game is in Geneva a week today, 24 hours before the draw for the new expanded Conference League. And here's Mykhailo Mudryk running at Tsunemoto, plays it through his legs, much to the delight of the home team. But again, that's Mudryk, isn't it? Wonderful piece of skill to get past his marker, and he can't play a 5-yard pass to Dewsbury Hall. It's out for a goal kick.
Sums him up, it really does. There's a great bit of skill, first of all. Nutmegs the right back. And then it's the outside of his foot where you need to have a really good touch with the weight of pass. And he just overplays it. It's a good run from Dewsbury Hall as well. He is a very football intelligent player. You can see he knows exactly where he wants to be. And Maresca's already said in pre-season that he's a year ahead of everyone else in terms of tactics that he wants to see his players play. But yeah, a simple pass like that, and in the end he gave that one away.
Just the one added minute at the end of this first half, which is still 0-0 on Talksport 2. I don't think too many of us would have predicted that before the first ball was kicked. Many inside the stand in which we're watching up in the gods here at Stamford Bridge are already heading to the half-time refreshment stands. Luckily I brought you some strawberry bonbons so you don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah, I thought I was 8 again.
They're delicious, by the way.
You allow me to have one? Are you eating them all?
Still a few with your name on it. Chelsea in possession, looking for one big chance at the end of this first half. We're deep into that one added minute. Mudryk into Badiashile. I'm going to be fascinated to see the reaction of the home supporters when the half-time whistle sounds. Pedro Neto on the right-hand side, trying to dance his way away from Mazikou. And there is the half-time whistle. You can hear the reaction. Boos all around Stamford Bridge on a night when Chelsea were expected to not only win the game but win handsomely. It hasn't worked out that way. They've had a couple of half moments, but Servette have had more corners. They've had more clear-cut opportunities, and I'd probably argue, Scott Minto, the Swiss side have been the better team, 0-0.
Yeah, after what was a very positive start from Chelsea, and you're expecting, OK, I like this, and we're creating chances already, and just get that first goal. They weren't able to, and Servette not only created chances, but they started to dictate the tempo of the game themselves. And yeah, obviously Chelsea have had more ball possession, but Servette have had more goal attempts, more shots on target, and they just look very, very comfortable.
Well, big half-time team talk for Enzo Maresca, beaten here in his first Premier League game against Manchester City at the weekend, and certainly Chelsea not having it all their own way tonight. Second half commentary to come, but at half-time at quite a deflated Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Servette 0.
Get an expert guide to all the latest speculations, signings and spending sprees with Simon Jordan's Football Business Roundup on Talksport with Tesco Mobile for Business. From the latest deals worth knowing to where the big money transfers are going. Get the inside track in one all-covering football finance feature. Simon Jordan's Football Business Roundup on Talksport with Tesco Mobile for Business. Join Tesco Mobile and get business phone bills for up to 40% less than the big mobile networks. Tesco Mobile. Every little helps. For applicable terms and verification, see tescomobile.com/business.
At Kia, we're excited to announce the Kia Sportage event, with 2 years free servicing on top of all PCP finance offers until the 31st of August. The Kia Sportage has won What Car Best Family SUV of the Year for the 2nd year running, inspiring attention with its refined, spacious interior, seamless connectivity, and advanced hybrid electric technology. Search the Kia Sportage event to order yours today. Take the lead. Drive electrified. Kia. Movement that inspires. T's and C's apply.
TikTok, official sponsors of Paralympics GB, and here's Oliver Lamb-Watson, wheelchair fencer for Great Britain.
I started fencing after my doctor told me,
"Well, you'll never be an athlete."
and I thought, watch me. Now, when I want to start something new, I start on TikTok. Like recently I searched for pasta recipes. It started with a simple sauce. Now I'm making my own spaghetti from scratch. It's easy when I can cook along to the TikTok video. Search Paralympics GB on TikTok and follow the journey to Paris. It starts on TikTok.
McDonald's are making small improvements to our classic burgers. Searing our patties so they're juicier, adding onions at the grill for extra flavour, new, toastier buns, and we're serving them hotter for even meltier cheese. The McDonald's classics, now a little more Comparison with prior classic burgers, served after 11 a.m, subject to availability.
This season, stream Sky Sports on Now.
Players are ready, and now we're off. What a nutmeg! Now he must score!
Now how has he missed that? Now that was death on a pen!
Now the ref's got to send him off! Now that must be the match winner!
Head to nowtv.com and stream Sky Sports with no contract.
Now that is real class!
18 plus, UK only, 6 months saver option also available.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the EFL. This Saturday, game day is go.
This stadium is shaking!
Exclusive full match commentary of Brighton versus Manchester United. Coverage from 11, kick-off 12:30 on Talksport. A brand new season of fast-paced football is on the way.
Oh, yes!
Listen to Talksport and Talksport 2 and get the latest transfer news first.
They are turning up the heat.
Get all the rumour and reports and our fast-moving transfer updates across the day with instant reaction from the biggest names in the game.
What a way to do it!
Plus, find a full transfer roundup at Talksport.com.
Listen to that!
Transfer updates throughout the day on Talksport and Talksport 2.
The passion, the pain, and the poetry of the beautiful game.
He fires it at beauty!
The Europa Conference League live on Talksport 2.
Lots of criticism has come the way of Todd Bowley and his boardroom colleagues. Can Chelsea send out a positive message this evening? He's rounded the goalkeeper and somehow it stays out. Guiu holds it up well, picked up by Mudryk. Mudryk with a shot right-footed. Low, but wide of the near post.
He's got all the attributes, but has he got the football intelligence?
Draw for the league phase of the Conference League takes place next Friday. It will be a big surprise and put big pressure on Enzo Maresca early in his tenure if Chelsea weren't very much part of that draw. But
Surprise isn't the word, Crookie. It'll be a massive shock, one of the biggest shocks.
still 0-0, which I think in itself is a story here at Stamford Bridge. So that's how the first half sounded on Talksport 2. Full second half commentary of Chelsea against Servette in the playoff round of the Europa Conference League still to come. But Premier League football is back on the Talksport network this weekend as we bring you live commentary of Brighton against Manchester United from 12:30 on Saturday. It'll be Fabian Hürzeler's home debut as the Brighton head coach, and the 31-year-old admits he wants to learn from his experienced players in the squad.
I'm listening to experienced players because I can also learn from them, and that's something very, very open, and the players know it. So of course I try to get in communication. I try to get to learn also from their experience, because in the end they experience more things on the pitch than me. I'm not afraid of saying that because it's the truth, you know, and I can learn from them. I can hear their opinions. I also can use their opinions in preparing a match against Manchester United, because in the end Danny Welbeck played there. He has maybe some more knowledge about the club and about the behavior from the individual players, and I would be silly if I wouldn't use it. So of course I will use it, and in the end, of course, it's my part to make the decisions, to make the clear preparation for the game, to have hopefully the right match plan for a great opponent.
That was Fabian Hürzeler ahead of Brighton against Manchester United live on Talksport this coming Saturday. And earlier today, the Manchester United boss Erik ten Hag spoke with Talksport's Manchester correspondent Mickey Gray, and he said he's thrilled with the transfer business done by the Red Devils so far this summer.
I'm very pleased.
It is showing we're going in the right direction. We know as a club we have to catch up, but I think it shows our ambition, the way we want to go. So I think we have done good business, really very good players, quality players who will contribute to our squad, to our quality of the squad.
Eric, the transfer window is obviously still open. You talk about players maybe coming into Manchester United. Is the players going to be leaving? High-profile players might leave before the end of the window?
I didn't say I'm looking for transfers coming in. I didn't say this. I don't say that players going out. So I said patience. Just for you guys, just wait. When we have news, we will bring it.
And a reminder, Brighton against Manchester United kicks off game day on Talksport. It's a 12:30 kick-off. Commentary comes from Sam Matterface and the former England striker Darren Bent. Also on Saturday afternoon, Premier League football is back at St Mary's as Southampton welcome Nottingham Forest. And ahead of the game, the Saints boss Russell Martin was adamant his side won't change their style of play despite last weekend's opening day defeat at Newcastle.
I think we've learned a lot from Saturday already about the players and how brave they're willing to be, because there's not many more difficult places than Newcastle away to try and gain some level of control in the game, and all the stats back that up since Eddie's been the manager there, how aggressive they are, how relentless they are. So for us to turn the game into what we did on so many occasions, and even 11 to 10, we 11 against 10, the game just didn't become transitional, and that's down to the players and their willingness to be aggressive with the ball. And I think there's still a lot of gears for them to crunch through with that. And I think we will hopefully continue to get better and better at what we do. And we do it because we think it's the best way for us to win and to be in the Premier League again next season. So the more moments we have where the players feel it on the pitch that they belong and they can play this way, then the better for us. And I know they can do it. I really believe in them. And I think they really believe in us and what we're doing. And I think that will be vital and really important to us achieving anything this season.
And Southampton against Nottingham Forest is one of our feature games on Game Day Live with Adrian Durham, Troy Deeney and Scott Minto alongside me at Stamford Bridge this evening. We'll be providing expert analysis goals as they go in from the Premier League and the EFL, including Fulham against Leicester, Manchester City against Ipswich and Spurs Everton, which is the game I'll be at, plus a classified results service at 5 o'clock. And as well as being your home of live Premier League and European football, Talksport, of course, is the only place to hear live commentaries from the EFL. And if you missed tonight's episode of the EFL Fan Network with Justin Beattie, reflecting on the week's big stories in the EFL with members of Talksport's Fan Network, it is available as a podcast. You can download from your go-to podcast provider, and it's all available to find on the Talksport app. Just search the EFL All Access feed to find it.
On Track, Tuesday afternoon from 2 on Talksport 2. Keep ahead of all the action in the world of motorsports.
He's shown that you don't need to win from pole position.
Extended hard-revving roundups, in-depth racing analysis, and big-name interviews.
If I'd gone 1.5 tenths slower, I would have been P10 on the grid. So it's so tight.
Talksport 2 rounds up the biggest stories and the latest racing rumors.
Championship points are more vital than ever.
On Track, Tuesday afternoon from 2 on Talksport 2.
The Monday Club on Talksport 2.
A broadcasting juggernaut of sport. Honestly, it's a whole different conversation. Professional analysis.
He was at the very peak of his powers.
Yeah.
Oh, he's the master of the dark arts.
And refreshingly frank opinion after all the action.
I don't rate him at all. So I think
he's useless.
The Monday Club, the sharpest minds in the business.
That is unbelievable.
Monday afternoon from 5
on Talksport 2.
You are listening to Chelsea 0, Servette 0 in the first leg of the Europa Conference League playoff live from Stamford Bridge, only here on Talksport. The Chelsea subs, their experienced subs bench actually compared to the starting lineup, the likes of Enzo Fernandez, the Argentine World Cup winner Nicholas Jackson, Cole Palmer, freshly crowned PFA Young Player of the Year this week, Noni Madueke, Malu Gustu, Mark Cucurella, who's just won the Euros with Spain, Levi Colwill, Romeo Lavia, all out there being put through their paces. And you wonder, even at this early stage of proceedings, if Enzo Maresca may be tempted to call upon his bench. A very underwhelming first half performance as far as Chelsea are concerned. 0-0 the score. We'll find out if they can put that right in the second half very shortly here on Talksport 2. And a reminder of the live football we have coming your way this weekend from the Premier League and the EFL Friday night right here on Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. It's a Yorkshire derby between Sheffield Wednesday and Leeds. Leeds yet to win a game in the Championship this season. Sheffield Wednesday, who had that thumping opening day 4-0 win over Plymouth, live on Talksport under their manager Danny Roll. On Saturday, your choice of listening at 12:30 on Talksport. We have live and exclusive Premier League commentary of Brighton against Manchester United on Talksport 2. It's Queen's Park Rangers against Wayne Rooney's Plymouth at 2:30 on Talksport. Adrian Durham will be going around the ground, all the goals they go in from the Premier League and beyond. Troy Deeney and our own Scott Minto here with me at Stamford Bridge tonight alongside him. Manchester City against Ipswich is your 3 o'clock commentary here on Talksport 2. On Sunday on 2 we have Swansea against Cardiff from the Championship. That's a 3 o'clock kickoff. So plenty of live football coming your way at the weekend. Scott Minto is back alongside me, Alex Crook here at the Bridge. I just mentioned, Scott, the Chelsea subs out there warming up. They've got a very strong bench tonight, and the way it's going, they might just need it.
I was just speaking to Jason Cundy, who was...
He's not happy, is he?
Listen, that's the best way you could put it. He's absolutely livid with what he's seen with this Chelsea side. I mean, look, first thing what I would say is I don't blame Maresca for making changes. This is a competition where even a second 11 Chelsea should be able to certainly get through this particular tie. It's 9 changes. It's 6 full debuts. This looks a very, very disjointed side after what was a very good start in the first 5 minutes, but it's not been good enough. Servette would take a 0-0 now, but actually the way they sort of came through that initial period, they'll go on and believe they can win this game this evening. And if they go take it back to Switzerland 1-0 up, with this Chelsea side right now that's still finding its feet and not knowing where it is and what positions, what teams, what players is best for it, I worry for Chelsea, I really do. So I expect to see changes. I don't think there'll be any at half time. It'd be interesting to see whether Maresca says no, I'm not having that. I've got to make changes here and now. I think players need a little bit more time, but what I would say to them, he needs to go a bit old school in terms of the dressing room and have a real go at them and say, you guys need to stand up and be counted. You need to show more character. You need to dominate these players on an individual one-on-one battle. And if 7 or 8 Chelsea players win their individual one-on-one battle, then they'll win this by a couple of goals. But what we saw in the first half wasn't good enough.
Well, the two teams are back out. I can tell you Chelsea have sent the same 11 that started the game. So it's Jorgensen in goal on his club debut. Disasi, Tosin, Badiashile and Renato Vega the back 4. Caicedo, Dewsbury Hall and Nkunku in a midfield 3 really, with Mudryk and Pedro Neto either side of young Mark Guiu up front. Servette with Frick in goal. Tsunemoto, Ruier, Severin and Mazikou is impressed the back 4. On Dua and Dulin in front of them with Stefanovic, Cognac, Katessa behind the lone striker Enzo Crivelli up front. Chelsea in their blue shirts and shorts with white socks, shooting from left to right in the second half. Get us back underway on Talksport 2. And after those half-time boos, a roar of encouragement from the home supporters. Servette in white shirts, white shorts and maroon socks are shooting from right to left, attacking the end of the ground where the travelling hordes are situated. Here's Kiernan Dewsbury Hall for Chelsea, looking to make a quick fire start of the second half, but Nkunku can't hold it up. And the ball is foisted forward by Frick, the goalkeeper and captain for Servette. Picked up by Undua in the centre circle. Now Katessa, dispossessed by the Chelsea captain Caicedo, but he's had his pocket picked immediately by Cognac, and Cognac rolls the ball out towards the right-hand side, but it lacked any pace the pass, and it was intercepted by Vega. And here's Mudryk, who accelerates quickly towards the top end of the pitch and then manages to roll away from a couple of challenges and find Pedro Neto. The home fans enjoyed that one. Neto on his left foot crosses into the area but away from Dewsbury Hall, and it curls behind for a goal kick for Servette. It's still 0-0.
No, but better, wasn't it, again from Chelsea? I say again, like the start of the first half, very much on the front foot. Clearly they know they need to step it up more so, and I'd like to see more of Pedro Neto. Look, it's going to take time for him to blend in, but Chelsea Football Club hasn't got too much time, and someone like him you're spending over £50 million on, you want him to sort of demand to get the ball, take on the full back. You have to say Mazico has done really well against him in the first half.
Their net spend, Chelsea, since Todd Bowley became the owner of the football club is £800 million. What do you get for 800 million these days? Not a lot, based on the opening 47 minutes of this game.
It's almost like tumbleweeds going past there, wasn't it, when you said that?
Here's Mudryk, one of the first headline-grabbing signings. They prized him away from Arsenal, of course, and it looked like he was going to join Mikel Arteta's men. I think some Arsenal fans may feel they've had a narrow escape there when you look at the lack of impact, really, that Mudryk has been able to make on the Premier League. Here's Nkunku. He prods the ball out to the right, and Pedro Neto with the left-footed cross again, but deflected off Mazikou, and Servette, comfortable in possession, will bring it forward. Mazikou plays it down the line to Katessa, and he's away from Moises Caicedo now. Mazikou. I think a lot of Chelsea fans were frustrated with what they perceived as a lack of effort at times in that first half in terms of closing down and playing out from the back, just a bit too casual maybe. I wonder if Maresca has articulated that point during the half-time break. Ball given away by Servette, and Dewsbury Hall tries to thread it forward for Nkunku, who rounds the goalkeeper, and he's brought down, and Chelsea have a penalty. Clumsy from Frick, the captain, sweeping Nkunku off his feet, and the referee immediately pointed to the spot. Scott Minto.
Yeah, really good play from Dewsbury Hall there. He closes down, wins the ball back. I wonder whether he sort of overplayed the ball. And Nkunku just gets there just before the goalkeeper, who has got to realise if he doesn't win that ball, he's going away from goal. He's got to just leave him. But because he dives in and misses, it's a definite penalty.
Well, big moment in the tie, this one, 4 minutes into the second half, on a night when Chelsea have been lacklustre, have been short of ideas, short of creativity. They've been gifted the chance to take the lead, and it is going to be Nkunku, the man who won the penalty, who takes the responsibility, and he fires the ball right-footed into the bottom corner. It's his first ever goal at Stamford Bridge. It's the first goal of the Enzo Maresca era, and it should be the goal that sets Chelsea on their way to a place in the Conference League. Early in the second half, we have the blue breakthrough. It is Chelsea 1, Servette 0.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter how it comes, as long as it does come. And absolutely, this should give Chelsea and the players the confidence now to show what their talents can do. Again, it just looks like a disjointed side, really, which is what it's been and what you get when you get so many players coming in almost every single window. It's relentless. But Maresca has to find a way. He's talked about how he wants and is training with just 22 players, 21 players. Doesn't matter how many are in the bomb squad, how many's away from it all. I need to foster this particular style of play with a number that I want. It's going to take time, but in terms of tonight, that was a really important goal straight after half-time. And Christopher Nkunku, well, he was never in doubt, really. He was going to stick that in the back of the net. Looked very confident.
Yeah, an excellent penalty. Cole Palmer on the bench tonight, would usually be on spot kick duty, but Nkunku, more than able deputy. Here's Stefanovic for Servette, looking for a quick-fire riposte, but forced by the challenge from Vega to run the ball out of play. Caicedo helps it forward. He's been a bit sloppy, Caicedo, in this second half in possession. He's given it away there. They won't want to invite Servette back into the game so soon after conceding. 1-0 Chelsea lead. Nkunku, whose 3 previous goals have been away from Stamford Bridge, as the goalkeeper's robbed on the edge of the area. Guillaume misses the first chance, misses the second, and he slams the rebound against the keeper to triple save in the end. Guillaume can't believe he's not scored. Another calamitous moment that Jeremy Frick and the Servette goal has got away with. Neto with a cross back into the box, and it's stooping header away by Ruier. That was an incredible 30 seconds, Scott.
Oh, that was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. First of all, well done, Mark Guillou, for closing down Frick, the goalkeeper, who did that in the first half as well. And then it was a really poor attempt at sticking the ball in the back of the net, an empty back of the net. The ball came back to him, and he should have passed it across goal to Christopher Nkunku, who was there waiting for it, but he didn't, and he wanted to score himself, which meant that Frick was able to come out and make the save. There's a real disappointment after what happened. A great opportunity to make it 2, and I do wonder if Chelsea do get that second goal, psychologically, where would Servette be? That was a missed opportunity from Guillou.
Yeah, I think he knows it, looking at his body language. As Mudryk is dispossessed, he wants a free kick. Referee says no, and Servette looking to counter. Good starting position from Jorgensen, and he's taken a bit of a chance there as he tried to carry the ball around Cognac. He's got it clear to the halfway line in the end. And now Dewsbury Hall for Chelsea. Into the goal scorer Nkunku. He's got Pedro Neto to his right. He switches it the other way. He might go alone here. Nkunku plays in Kieran Dewsbury Hall. He played him too wide, and Servette will scramble it clear. That was another gilt-edged opportunity where Nkunku just played the wrong ball.
Yeah, do you know what? First of all, well done to him for showing the pace and the power and the want to try and get beyond the midfield of Servette. But he should have played that ball in a little bit early if he was going to. By taking an extra couple of touches, he might as well have the shot himself. And he's ended up overplaying the pass. And Dewsbury Hall is kind of diving just to try and get any kind of strike in it at all, which he didn't. Another opportunity.
Booking, I think, of the evening for Timothy Cognac. I'm not exactly sure what he did to warrant that. The referee has shown a yellow card.
No, but what I would say, though, quickly, I mean, 2 really important or missed great opportunities there, but the second half is completely different to what we saw in the first.
Vega into the feet of Guillou. Runs into one of the Servette players, and he's down holding his face, Guillou. Referee isn't going to stop the play. Is this positive start to the second half by Chelsea a reaction to what Maresca said, do you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think he's gone a little bit old school and just had to go at these players and say, look, forget tactics. This is about, do you want it? Individually, you're there psychologically. This is Chelsea Football Club we're talking about here. And with all the greatest of respect, this is a Swiss side that we are expected to beat, and some. Step it up, and I think they've done that. Every single player has 10% at the very least.
Here's Cognac on the halfway line for Servette. 0-0 the score. The applause you can hear ringing around is because Cole Palmer, among others, is out warming up, and looks like he might be being readied actually by Maresca, just getting some instructions from the manager. Sliding challenge from Vega. The Chelsea fans appreciated that, and he turns to the shed end away to our left and pushes out his chest and fist pumps Renato Vega. As we welcome once again listeners from Talksport. We've played 10 minutes and a much improved second half for Chelsea, who were outplayed at times in the first half. They lead 1-0. Christopher Nkunku from the penalty spot, his first ever goal at Stamford Bridge, breaking the deadlock after he was sent tumbling by the goalkeeper Jeremy Frick. And here's Neto for Chelsea, trying to sprint away from Mazikou. That's a really important challenge coming in from Crivelli, just as Pedro Neto looked like he was going to turn on the afterburners and sprint clear there, Scott Minto.
Absolutely. It's been a much improved performance in the second half from Chelsea, where, as you say, at times they were outplayed, and the stats will show that the away side, Servette, had more chances at goal, but no, much better. Won the penalty, had a couple of really good chances to make it 2 as well, on the front foot. If they make it 2, then I do believe they can do 3, but Servette's still not out of this game.
11 minutes gone in the second half, courtesy of that Nkunku penalty. It's Chelsea 1, Servette 0. A couple of changes being readied. Not just Cole Palmer, Enzo Maresca, who captained the team at the weekend, is also... Enzo Fernandez, I should say, is also coming on. Here's Contessa into the penalty area. Cross-come shot across the face of goal, chested away by Vega, and Mudryk has got the opportunity, I think, to sprint forward here on the counter. And he's away, down the left-hand side. Chelsea fans expectant on their feet, try to cut it back. Mudryk towards Guillou, but prodded away by Daulin. And here come Servette at the other end. That's been a really good 57 minutes from a neutral perspective. Opportunity for Sudimoto to get a shot away. It's blocked, and then it cannons back off the Japanese defender. and behind for a goal kick, and it actually is going to be a trio of changes for Chelsea with just 12 minutes gone in the second half. Noni Madueke coming on as well, and a warm ovation for Pedro Neto. His first Chelsea start is coming to an early end. On comes Madueke, who would have been frustrated at his omission from the starting lineup in the first couple of games of the season. We're also going to see Cole Palmer replace Mark Guiu. He's getting a decent round of applause, as well as is Palmer, his replacement. Very much Chelsea's main man last season. And listen to that applause, and the final change has seen Enzo Fernandez replace the goal scorer Nkunku.
Well, I've got to be honest with you, after being a really poor first half, where he could have made changes in the first half if it had wanted to, the second half has been completely different. Go 1-0 up, two really good opportunities, Chelsea very much on top, and then you make a triple substitution. Clearly he wants to try and win this game, but this is the type of performance in the second half that we wanted from the start of the first. I'm slightly surprised he's made the substitutions, but he's still sending out a message. He wants to go out and win this game and win this tie tonight if possible.
Well, certainly a comfortable lead to take back to Switzerland would have been very much a priority. Didn't look likely at half-time, and 1-0 is still a slender margin. They do look like a team, Chelsea, who are going to give opponents chances.
It's interesting as well, Cole Palmer's that furthest man up. I can't really call him a number 9, he's far from that. You would think he'll end up being like a false 9, but he's the one furthest up at the moment, down the middle.
I think that's still an aim of Maresca in the final week of the transfer window. Closes a week tomorrow to recruit a number 9, Victor Osimhen. Talks continue. Wouldn't surprise me still if they made a late play for Ivan Toney if they can't get the Osimhen deal done. I'm sure we're going to be talking about Chelsea on our special YouTube programme on Talksport. Myself and Jim White, 10 o'clock until midnight on deadline night next Friday. Here's Enzo Fernandez out to Madueke. Down the right hand side he comes, cuts in his left foot. Madueke, can he get a shot away? Blocked on the edge of the area by the impressive Mazikou. But immediately there, purposeful play from Madueke. And then Mudryk has been felled by Tsunemoto, and it's a free kick for Chelsea. Level with the right corner of the penalty area. 1-0 they lead.
Yeah, he's looked a lot better in the second half, hasn't he?
They've taken it short, taken it quickly. Fernandez with the shot from a tight angle, which is blocked. It goes back out to Palmer on that left-hand side, the Chelsea left.
What I would say as well is Noni Madueke, 9 changes tonight, and yet he's still the one on the bench. So with him coming on now, I think he will feel he's got a bit of a point to prove, and as a player I like a lot. Did well in pre-season, did well towards the end of last season. Stockpiling the attacking midfielders, so aren't they, Chelsea?
Well, I think he's the type of character, if he's not in the team, that could be a bit of an issue. Certainly doesn't lack confidence, Madueke. He's played a good ball down the right touchline there to Fernandez. Palmer trying to turn inside the penalty area. He'll be keen to get his first goal of the season after scoring so many last year, but Servette have defended that well, and Caicedo a little bit overzealous in the challenge on Mazikou. So it's a free kick in the left-back position, and Servette are going to make their first alteration. And it's an attacking change. Alexis Antunes is coming on in place of Stefanovic. Antunes was, in most of the previews that I read from Switzerland, expected to be in the starting lineup tonight.
Yeah, look, I'm not surprised he didn't. I think quite clearly Thomas Aberli thought that they'd be very much on the back foot. And the first half has shown, after the first 5 or so minutes, that actually they can very much be on the front foot. But now they're 1-0 down, there's no doubt about it, they've been conceding chances. If they can try and turn things around, and Stefanovic, of course, 34 years of age, I don't think it's a bad idea to give him, 60 minutes now and bring in Antunes.
What would be a good result for Servette now to keep this tie alive in the second leg?
I think 1-0 still. At 0-0. Again, I was speaking to Jason Cundy, and he was saying they'll go on and win this. I said, well, I'm not sure about that, but they could easily keep it to 0-0. Look, they'd love to go back home and have a draw. I still think 1-0. They'll be pretty confident against a very disjointed Chelsea side that are still getting to know who's who and who's their teammate.
And on the flip side, 9 changes tonight from Chelsea. How many of those players who've come in have really pushed their claim for a place in the starting lineup at Wolves on Sunday?
I think Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall has probably been one of these standouts. I think he knows where to run. And Maresca's already said about that. He's a year ahead in terms of where he wants his players to be. I think he's done well on the ball. I don't think he's been brilliant. Well, you're right, I don't think anyone's been brilliant.
Cross into the Chelsea area, headed away by Badiashile. Ondua wins it back in midfield for Servette. It's out to their right-hand side. They've got 2 to aim at in the centre. Antunes, having just come on, puts a cross into the area, and it needed heading away by Tosin. It's not clear yet, and then a little backheel attempt by Crivelli, straight into the arms of the goalkeeper. But it was dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, go through them. Jorgensen, I think, was a little bit sloppy quite early on, but hasn't really had much to do. Vega's come in, certainly in the first half, into that, and he's trying to in the second as well, that inverted sort of midfield role, but I don't think he's really sort of helped dominate Chelsea. Tosin and Benoit Badiashile haven't really done too much, and Servette have had their chances. The Sassy, you could say the same thing. Caicedo, you know, there's a lot of money being spent, and he's a captain for the night, but his passing hasn't been great. And, you know, Neto's off the pitch. Mudryk has been hit and miss at times. Guiu has worked hard. And no one's been outstanding, but, you know, again, there's a lot of these new players, and whether they're new players or whether they're making full debuts or whether they're just playing alongside someone they've never played against, it's not an easy thing to do, but still, when you're playing at the very top for Chelsea Football Club against, with the greatest respect, Servette, you need to do better.
And Fernandes trying to thread it forward towards Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, but the pass was a poor one. Disasi does well to dispossess Contessa on the counter, and here is Caicedo on the halfway line. £115 million British record signing. Moises Caicedo, I think it's not really been justified so far. And then a free kick given away by Renato Vega on the edge of the Servette penalty area. Their manager Thomas Haberle is deep in conversation with his backroom staff. Servette have only won 4 of the last 12 away games. In fact, the last time they played English opposition, they were beaten by Derby back in 1974 in the UEFA Cup. They did beat Liverpool a couple of years before that in the Cup Winners' Cup, but they went out on aggregate on that occasion. Here's Contessa, left corner of the 18-yard box. Good ball in, and he almost stooped underneath it there, Antunes, with a header, and it goes over his head and out for a goal kick. That was a chance.
It was, absolutely. There's a really clever ball in, perhaps a little bit behind Antunes, so he's almost kind of ducked under it and let it go, but I think this just shows Chelsea have just got to be careful. Yes, they're dominating now. It's been a much better performance in the second half, but still, got to be careful for those little counter-attacks.
Out to the left-hand side, and Vega, Dewsbury-Hall couldn't hold it up, and Servette, who've been confident in possession throughout the course of the opening 65 minutes, despite the fact they trail 1-0, trying to come forward again. Good play by Caicedo initially, and he gave it away, and it's run back by Fernandes, and he can't find Mudryk. Just haven't kept the ball well enough, Chelsea, over the course of the evening. And you feel if they were up against a better calibre of opponent, they could be in much more trouble than they are. Here's Contessa down the left-hand side. And this time it's Servette who give the ball away tamely, with Antunes, and Disasi just watches it trickle behind for a goal kick for Chelsea. Reminder, we've got Brighton against Manchester United from the Premier League on Talksport at 12:30 on Saturday, and at 3 o'clock here on Talksport 2 it's Ipswich and their trip to Manchester City. Chelsea will be part of the Sunday session, which comes live from South Wales, actually, where Swansea take on Cardiff in the Championship. Goals as they go in from Wolves, Chelsea, Bournemouth, Newcastle, the Eddie Howe derby, and Liverpool against Brentford in Arne Slot's first game in charge.
You doing that from South Wales, are you? Or where are you going to be?
I'm going to be at the Eddie Howe derby.
Okay. Right on your doorstep.
Yeah, catch up with a few old friends in the Newcastle dugout. Be a good game, that.
Very good.
I think Wolverhampton Wanderers, if they're watching this, might see it as an opportunity to get their first win of the season. Gary O'Neill's side beaten at Arsenal on Saturday. No disgrace in that.
No, and I think it'll be a completely different Chelsea side again. But still, I don't think they'll be too worried in this first home game for Wolves up against the disjointed Chelsea side.
So important, isn't it, for Maresca to make a good start, because you just sense that the fans are not going to be that patient, and Túnez trying to prod the ball forward. It's intercepted by Badiashile, and this is where Chelsea may be able to counter-attack. Dewsbury Hall doesn't take the opportunity to play it forward, and then he gets robbed, much to the frustration of the home fans. And again, it's poor from Servette, who I think physically now are just beginning to tire. It was a disappointing through ball from Dulin.
Yeah, you know what you were saying about Maresca wanting to make a good start. Absolutely, every player, every manager certainly wants to do that, but especially considering how Mauricio Pochettino ended the season. The fourth best team in the Premier League from December onwards, winning the last 5. I thought would be nailed on for that 4th spot, which I think is so open this season. I really do. Now I haven't got a clue as we stand.
Again, Chelsea squander the ball inside their own half. It's won back by Axel Disasi. Cole Palmer looking to turn defence into attack, trying to release Mudryk, who sprints but can't keep that in play.
I expect better from Palmer, to be honest with you. He's dropped in. There's that false 9. He's turned and he just needed to put it into space. And he's tried to whip it too much. Mudryk would have made it. Just the ball over the top with the pace that he's got.
I just wonder how he's feeling in particular about the departure of Mauricio Pochettino. Made that big call, didn't he, to leave Manchester City, leave Pep Guardiola to come down to Stamford Bridge. Certainly Pochettino got the best out of him last season. I wonder if he might see a little bit of a drop-off in form under a new manager.
Listen, I think there were a lot of players, and Nicholas Jackson being one of them as well, not happy that the Pochettino's gone, but it's a ruthless world, ruthless business. The king is dead, long live the king. It's Maresca's job now to get the best out of Cole Palmer. Look, the bottom line is there's pressure on Cole Palmer. He had an absolutely incredible season, and I could make a very good argument as to why he should have been player of the season in the Premier League because of what had gone on around Chelsea and how heavy that shirt was weighing at that particular time, or throughout the whole of last season. Can he produce it again? Would he have been able to produce it again under Pochettino? It does make it more difficult under Maresca, but that's something that both of them need to work on.
Chelsea leading here by 0-0. Servette are making a couple of changes to try and get back in the game. Julian von Moos is the second of those changes coming on. Katessa making way, which I think Chelsea will be quite pleased about. He's had a decent game. Theo Mangin is the other player who's been called off the Servette bench. Dulin also, after that tired pass I mentioned a few moments ago, is off. So Servette chancing their arm from the bench. We've got 20 minutes remaining. You're listening to Talksport 2 Live. Conference League playoff action. The goal that divides the two teams scored by Christopher Nkunku from the penalty spot early in the second half, after Nkunku himself had been brought down by the goalkeeper Frick. Here's Mikhailo Mudryk for the Blues to the £115 million Caicedo. Quick switch of play from Enzo Fernandez to Madueke. Madueke into the penalty area, a couple of step overs. Can he pick out a team out? Oh, he's absolutely lashed that all the way across the box and scampering to keep it in. Vega does well, actually, to stop the ball going out for a throw-in for Servette. That was wasteful.
Yeah, but
Madueke just pulled up, actually, Scott Minto, as well as he crossed that ball.
Yeah, it's still good defending from Maziko. Even though he's got past him, it's on the outside and he's not allowed him to cross the ball with any kind of composure on his right foot as well.
Foul there on Enzo Fernandez by Severin, the French centre-back, the former Juventus youngster. Free kick taken quickly. I don't think Madueke is too comfortable. I think he may have maybe done something to his hamstring. And Maresca already is pointing towards the subs warming up away on our right. Chelsea a goal to the good here with 19 to play, but looks like they might be forced into an injury substitution.
I think he might have got caught on the ankle or something like that when in the challenge.
He might be able to run it off.
Yeah, I do. Very rarely run off hamstring injuries.
No, good point. Just the way he pulled up.
Yeah.
gave me cause for concern. Just looking at the players Chelsea have out warming up. Cucurella is down there, Gusto, Nicholas Jackson you've been talking about. Nicholas Offside Jackson, as Sam Matterface has christened him in the All Access podcast. He was very frustrated with him at the weekend.
Well, yeah, again, he's another one who's, pure talent, pure potential. He's strong, he's quick, he's got a decent touch, he can run the channels, he can have defenders hanging off him. Can he stick the ball in the back of the net? Can he time his runs at the right time? Will he learn that, or is it something that he just hasn't got, he isn't able to acquire? And that's the problem with buying talent and potential. You're never quite sure. I understand the risk. And when you're buying so many, it just creates a bit of a problem, especially for a club like Chelsea Football Club, who have been used to senior pros and ready-made world-class players being on the pitch and all about the here and now.
Madueke, in conversation with the referee, has just pointed to his right ankle, as you suggested, Scott, and then pointed down towards the right corner flag where the challenge happened, just telling Enzo Maresca exactly what the problem is. He has the ball now, Madueke, and he's able to cut in on his left foot and then go back out on his right. Enzo Fernandez up in support. Chelsea have got everybody bar their goalkeeper Jorgensen inside the Servette half. They lead 1-0. We've got 17 minutes plus stoppage time remaining.
You thought he did his hamstring. Have you ever done your hamstring?
I'm not quick enough to do my hamstring. Wasn't blessed with pace when I played, funnily enough. Madueke's won a corner for Chelsea. They're fourth of the game. He played it against Cognac, the midfielder, and it's going to be a corner taken from the right-hand side.
Yeah, it's just sort of dropped a gear or two, hasn't it? And I think that favours Servette. You ask me what's a good scoreline for them. I genuinely think even now they take 1-0. It's down to Chelsea to really step it up and score more goals.
And Cole Palmer to whip in this corner kick. And the goalkeeper has punched it away under a little bit of pressure from Badiashile. Palmer plucks it from the sky on this near side and thought about playing in the cross first time. Instead he plays it short to Fernandez in the blue footwear. Palmer picking out Dewsbury Hall. There's a Chelsea player face down inside the box. I think it might be Renato Vega.
The fans not happy there though. They had the ball, Cole Palmer, on the edge of the 18-yard box of Servette, and they even had an overload as well, but somehow find a way to passing the ball all the way back to Jorgensen.
I still think this is a performance from Chelsea that leaves a lot more questions for Maresca than answers. It's been far from convincing. So they're looking to come forward. Badiashile just runs across the line there of Crivelli and made sure it found its way to Philip Jorgensen, looking for a debut clean sheet.
It's going to take time. You can't expect them to suddenly dominate and win this game 4-5. It doesn't normally happen like that, but it is slightly worrying, and this is just the Chelsea side that we've been seeing for the first 18 months of the new owner's reign.
Casually given away by Badiashile. Ball chipped into the penalty area. Cognac on the edge of that 18-yard box. Well played. Fernandez shrugs off his opposite number 8. Strong play from the Argentine, and Dewsbury Hall then side-foots the pass into Disassi, but Chelsea fans frustrated again. They've gone backwards before going forwards. There's 15 minutes left. They're only 1-0 up. They need more goals really to make the second leg comfortable.
Yeah, and ironically enough, Chelsea have been at their best when? Start of the second half up until the substitutions.
And that was strange, wasn't it? 11 minutes in the second half. They've just gone 1-0 up. They're playing well. He makes a triple change. Here's Madueke into the penalty area, running in behind, and he lasses it right-footed over the goalkeeper, and just like that, Chelsea double their lead, and Noni Madueke points to his badge on the shirt. He'll have been frustrated that he wasn't in the team against Manchester City on Sunday, and he's just taken that frustration out on Servette. It was a slide-ball pass from Fernandez. Servette, having committed bodies forward, were caught out on the counter, and you've got to say it's a really emphatic finish. Chelsea 2, Servette 0.
Well, that goal came from absolute nowhere because Servette looked in complete control. But that's what Madueke can do, and I talked about when he did come on the pitch, he would have been disappointed. He didn't start the weekend, 9 changes, he still didn't start tonight. He absolutely has got a point to prove, and I do believe he's got the talent to be a Chelsea first-teamer. And that's what he needs to be doing. Play the ball in behind. We talked about, again, Cole Palmer a little bit earlier, and Mudryk overplayed the ball. That was the perfect ball from Enzo and a fantastic finish from Madueke. And do you know what, Cookie? That's a crucial second goal for Chelsea in this tie.
And that celebration was a message, wasn't it, to Enzo Maresca? When you name your team against Wolves at Molineux on Sunday, I should be in it.
Put me in it, absolutely. And that's what you want from your subs, to come on and make a difference.
Well, they're under pressure again here, Servette, and you wonder if Chelsea could run riot now. Cole Palmer with a shot from 25 yards out, straight down the throat of Frick, the goalkeeper. But you just sense 13 minutes to go. The Swiss side have expanded a lot of energy to keep the scoreline relatively respectable. And if they are tired and they look lagged, then maybe Chelsea could take advantage and run out comfortable winners in the end. Didn't look that way for a lot of the game. Here's Cognac though at the other end. Haven't tested the goalkeeper enough. I think that will be one complaint. Might test him now. And Tunes with a shot blocked by Tosin, but the offside flag was up anyway, and it's going to be a free kick on the edge of the area. Chelsea leading by 2-0 here on Talksport 2.
The biggest compliment I can give Servette is that it's not a 2-0 game. I'm not even sure it's a 1-0 game, but Chelsea probably have been a little bit the better side. I just think that second goal was absolutely crucial for the mentality of everybody around here. You can hear the fans now delighted. There's almost a sense of relief for that goal from Noni Madueke, because it came from nowhere. It really did.
Yeah, absolutely. A rapid counter from Chelsea, doubling their lead. Malo Gusto is coming on for Axel Disasi. Gusto, I think, pretty much nailed on to be starting at the weekend against Wolves. Just going to get a few minutes in his legs at the end of the match here. Chelsea 2 up.
I'll tell you what's going to be fascinating is when we're sort of 6 or 7 games into the season and we're looking at, okay, what is your best team now, Enzo Maresca? Who's your best right back? I mean, Reece James, when he's fully fit, I think he's genuine world class, and yet Malo Gusto, the biggest compliment I can give him is Chelsea don't miss Reece James when he plays, but attacking midfielder is going to be fascinating to see who he plays.
Here come Chelsea with Fernandes, as we're joined again by listeners over on Talksport. Lovely little flick around the corner from Dewsbury Hall. Sets Mudryk away on the left-hand side. He's into the penalty area. He's found Cole Palmer. Palmer into Madueke again. Overcooked the pass to Fernandes, and what looks a promising Chelsea attack in the end is going to peter out. They are looking comfortable here though, as Fernandes wins it back on the edge of the area. They lead 2-0. Dewsbury Hall into Mudryk. Mudryk took the ball onto his left foot, shot from an acute angle. It's all the way across the face of goal, and out for a goal kick. Chelsea taking the lead with the Nkunku penalty early in this second half, doubled by the super sub Madueke. And that celebration, Scott Minto, he pointed to his chest, said, "Was that me?" Cocked his head. We said it was a message to Maresca. It looks a pretty clear one.
Absolutely. And I mentioned earlier about how he didn't start the game on Sunday. 9 changes. He still didn't start the game tonight. We know he's a confident lad. We know he's a very talented lad. And I think in pre-season he's done very well, and the end of last season as well. So he would have a point to prove. He'd be in his head coming off the bench, I've got to do something. And that's exactly what you want your subs to do from a managerial point of view. Go and make a difference, make an impact. The second goal, I genuinely believe, is crucial in terms of this tie, because it's not been a 2-0 game. I think Servette have done really well. But now, psychologically, do they believe they can go on and win this tie? They might need a goal tonight.
Yeah, 10 minutes remaining. Chelsea with 1 foot surely in the Conference League. It's Chelsea 2, Servette 0. Here come the visitors. Ball prodded into the penalty area. Maybe an opportunity here. Crivelli's forced into a wide position. Tries to cut it back into the box. It's cleared. And then a shot from a long way out from Ondua, straight into the arms of Jorgensen. It remains Chelsea 2, Servette 0.
I don't know why he just didn't try to strike that first time. It's a lovely little ball in behind. Tosin wasn't really close to him. We talked about perhaps needing that goal.
Oh, Chelsea have given it away on the edge of the area. The shot from Crivelli, and that's a really good save. Down to his right by Jorgensen first. Tough save he's really had to make, and he was alert to the danger, but again it came from Chelsea sloppily playing their way out from the back. They've conceded the corner.
Yeah, that's the word, sloppy. He's giving the ball away. You cannot afford to concede here. 2-0, you'd feel confident Chelsea to go through. 2-1, not at all.
Short corner, played to Mazaku, the left back. Madueke inside his own area, just pokes it out for a throw, just relieves some of the danger.
Yeah, well, we got, 9 minutes plus injury time. I just wonder whether Maresca will try and get any messages on and say, come on, let's stay concentrated on this. We keep a clean sheet. We have got 1 foot in the next round. But Servette have shown that they're talented. Obviously playing at home in the small compact stadium, they'll believe they can get at least 1 goal. Well, that's why I just feel that Noni Madueke's finish is absolutely crucial.
Well, those travelling fans away to our left are still enjoying their evening in West London. Many of them still topless, singing their songs and trying to roar the ball into the back of the net. And they were the second lowest scorers in the top 6 in Switzerland last season. I think they have lacked a bit of punch and attack. Despite some promising play, they trail by 2-0. Chelsea closing in on Enzo Maresca's first win as manager. A much needed one. I think they needed to win comfortably as well. If it had stayed 1-0, I think the narrative in the papers in the morning would have been a limp Chelsea victory. Unconvincing. If they can get another goal, suddenly it looks very convincing.
3-0, the tie's over for sure. 2-0, you would think Chelsea very strong favourites, although with this Chelsea side, if they concede early, you just don't know. 2-1, I'll tell you what, Servette would fancy their chances.
Tosin with a volley upfield. It's headed out of play by Tsunomoto. Latest Chelsea change is about to be made. Romeo Lavia, who impressed here against Man City at the weekend, is coming on, but not until Chelsea have finished this attack. Caicedo down the left-hand side just didn't really have the pace, and Ruier slides in and concedes a throw. Might well be Lavia for Caicedo, the latest change. In fact, that's exactly what is going to happen. What have you made of Moises Caicedo performance? I still don't think we're seeing the Moises Caicedo we did in the Brighton shirt.
No, not yet. And I actually thought he had a better game against Manchester City than he has tonight. I don't think he's dominated in any way. I thought he played well alongside Lavia at the weekend. And again, you talk about the best 11. You know, who plays where? You know, Lavia's better as a holder, so is Caicedo. Fernandes isn't really a number 10, but you spent £100 million on 2 players. Do the owners say, well, they've got to play? Where does Cole Palmer play? If he doesn't play in the 10, does he play out wide? Well, we know that Maresca wants his wingers to be wingers. Joao Felix is not a winger.
There is an argument for having too many players. You look at the Manchester City and all the success they've had. Pep Guardiola likes really a small squad. He likes a small pool of players to choose from.
And there's a hierarchy. People know really when, you know, probably 8 or 9 of the players, when they're fit in the big game, you know who's playing. And that's what happened with Chelsea under Abramovich and all the managers that he had. People turn around and say, oh, well, you know, it's the same, he was ruthless just like these ones are. But there was a hierarchy there. You had 12 to 16 players who kind of knew they'd be in the first team or on the bench, first ones off the bench. Get another 8 or so that would be on the bench stroke in the squad. Then there'd be some youngsters who might be pushing or actually probably just be going out on loan, but there was a hierarchy to it. Here we don't really know. Every single player could probably justify or give an argument why they should be starting in the first team. That makes it very difficult for a head coach.
Timothy Cognac has just been replaced by Tiamoko Ouattara for Servette. He trailed by 2-0. You're listening to Talksport 2 live from Stamford Bridge. We're into the final 5 minutes of what's been a fraught evening at times. Chelsea booed off at half-time. They have scored their goals in the second half to, at the moment, win the game with something to spare. Here's Ouattara, though, towards the penalty area. He's going to get a shot away. It's deflected, and it's hit the crossbar, and it's behind for a corner. Well, that would have changed the complexion of the evening.
Oh, my goodness. We've got minutes away, and they're just dropping off. And the moment he comes back onto his left foot inside, you know he's going to shoot. Engage, stop it. And at least there was a little bit of deflection, but that could easily have bounced and hit the crossbar and gone in, not hit the crossbar and gone out.
They still have more corners, Servette, than Chelsea. The latest is going to be taken right in front of their bouncing travelling supporters. It's going to be whipped in by Von Moos, one of the subs, and it was a free header. And Dua should have done better. He's nodded wide. He was unmarked inside the box.
Free header. It's a difficult one because he was past the near post. So he's almost having to sort of generate a bit of power and direct it as well. Not an easy header, but the bottom line is it was a free header. There was no one within a yard or two of him.
Chelsea 2, Servette 0. 87 played here on Talksport 2. Don't forget, tomorrow we've got a Yorkshire derby from the Championship. Sheffield Wednesday against Leeds, who need a win to kickstart their season. Lavia dispossessed inside his own half, but it will be cleared away upfield. In fact, he's going to go back to his goalkeeper, Tosin, into Jorgensen. Jorgensen's left-footed clearance isn't the best. It rather ballooned into the sky, but it's bounced out off a Servette player for a Chelsea throw. Fascinating to hear what Enzo Maresca makes of his team's performance when he addresses the media in a few minutes' time. Many of the home fans already making their way out of the stadium, believing the victory is secure at 2-0. And goalkeeper Frick, who's had one or two nervy moments, not least giving away the penalty from which Nkunku opened the scoreline, has played it forward, and he's played it forward well. And then Vega is shrugged off it, and the shot is fired well wide by Von Moos, when maybe he should have just rolled it forward into the penalty area for Guilleminot.
Well, I just wonder whether he should have gone down. Vega's given the ball away, he's chasing him, he's pushed him 20 yards out, almost bang in front of goal, and he's stayed on his feet, but if he'd gone down, that would have been a really dangerous position.
Only 2 minutes to the 90 to play. We only have one added minute at the end of the first half, so time running out for Servette. 2 down here. As Cole Palmer runs himself into trouble, dispossessed by Ruier inside the centre circle. They're quickly going to get the ball forward, the Swiss side, towards the Chelsea box. Here's Ouattara, who's looked lively since coming off the bench, but he's miscued that pass, and the left back Mazikou has to scamper to get there ahead of Madueke. And here's Ruier up over the halfway line. Will they get one last big opportunity, Servette, to reduce the deficit and make a real game of it in that second leg in a week's time? 2-1 would be a nervous scoreline for Chelsea to take back to Geneva. Cross into the area, headed away first time by Badiashile, and then clipped upfield by the former Monaco man. Mudryk has been dispossessed by Von Moos, and there's an opportunity to get across in here again for Servette, and they've won yet another corner. Mikhailo Mudryk doing his defensive duty there, sliding in, winning the challenge.
Yeah, and credit to him. You know, he's a winger, he's an out-and-out winger, but he's tracking back, he's helping his team out. We're coming into the, well, we are in the 90th minute, and they've had quite a fair few set pieces. The quality hasn't always been good enough, but it takes one.
This is Servette's 8th corner, 30 seconds to 90 remaining, 2-0 down against Chelsea. Those travelling fans are going to go ballistic if this ends up in the back of Philip Jorgensen's net. The goalkeeper closing in on a debut shutout. Von Moos with the delivery, not a bad one. Oh, and it's lifted over the crossbar from point blank range. Well, that was the big chance I was talking about. They might not get a better one, and I think it was Guillermo, the substitute striker, who really knows he should have scored, Scott Minto.
Oh, wow. I talked about they only need one. That was the one. I cannot believe that they'll get a better chance than that, and thank goodness from a Chelsea point of view, he didn't react quick enough. It was a wonderful ball in. Chelsea defenders couldn't get on it, but because it came to him perhaps unexpectedly, you have to expect it in that situation.
Gusto could have released Palmer down the left-hand side. Instead, he's held onto the ball for too long. He was dispossessed, and he's given away a free kick and a chance for Servette to get the ball forward once more into 6 added minutes at the end of the 90 here on Talksport 2. It's Chelsea 2, Servette 0, but that was a massive chance for the visitors to really keep this tie alive heading into next Thursday. And Tunis down the left into Ondua. Now Mazikou, left corner of the penalty area, rolls it into the box. Looking for Von Moos. Across came Tosin, who I think has been the better of the two central defenders for Chelsea. Impressive full debut from him. And he smashes that ball into play on this near side for a Servette throw. Already well into the 6 added minutes here. Chelsea 2, Servette 0. 0-0 it was at half time. Chelsea scoring early from the penalty spot in the second half through Nkunku. And then Madueke with a really good finish to make it 2 not long after coming off the bench. Again, Dewsbury Hall's going to get a yellow card here for a clothesline. And it's going to be a free kick for Servette halfway inside the Chelsea half, and again an opportunity, Scott Minto, to load up the penalty area.
Yeah, absolutely. I think from a corner with the ball the way it was whipped in, that was a better position here, but again the left foot in swinging. I mean, what, 40, 50 yards out, so he's not going to have a shot, but it's certainly with the in swinging free kick coming in can make things very difficult for this Chelsea defence.
Just going to try and drop this just inside the area, I'd imagine. Chelsea keeping a very high line on the edge of their box, but there are 6 or 7 white shirts on the edge of the area. It's a poor one, headed away by Tosin, and picked up inside the centre circle by Bradley Mazikou, the Congolese fullback, and he plays it back to Frick, the goalkeeper. How costly his moment of rashness, giving away that penalty at the start of the second half, really giving Chelsea confidence then. Ball scooped forward into the penalty. Augusto does well. Malagusto getting there ahead of Wataru, goes down hopefully looking for a free kick on the edge of the box. Certainly wasn't a foul.
Well, I'll tell you what, Malagusto did well there. It was a great run from Wataru, and he went with him. He chested the ball down, and he's just stepped in at the right moment. A better first touch off his chest. Wataru might have been able to get the second touch and the shot out. And in the end, Malagusto followed his runner. And really good defending from the fullback.
I think the common consensus from Chelsea fans will be, yeah, it's a win. Maresca's off and running, but a better side would have probably punished us tonight. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think so, but you know, it's the perfect game. I think it's the perfect competition for Chelsea as well. It's Europe's weakest, and it's, you know, the amount of players that Chelsea have, Maresca can have 2 11s for sure, well, more than that. And I think in terms of tonight, it's job done, satisfactory, nothing more than that, but it will take time for this side to gel, whoever plays in whatever position.
Madueke with the second goal certainly has enhanced his claims for a regular starting role, but so much competition in those wide positions. We saw João Felix introduced to the home crowd before the game. He's obviously going to command a place, having been signed for so much money. Cole Palmer coming on in the second half. Nicholas Jackson has had a night off. You'd expect him to start at Molineux in the Premier League on Sunday. That is going to be the conundrum for Maresca. How do you keep everybody happy? And I alluded to it earlier, Scott, I think Madueke is a player you have to keep happy. Otherwise it's a problem in that dressing room.
Well, no, if a player's going to be like that, then you don't want him. You know, he's got to realise it's a team game, and especially at a club like Chelsea, there's so many players, and that is another problem that Maresca's going to have. He's got to manage each individual. But if a player's not being picked, if he's going to throw a bit of a paddy, then you know that's not the good of Chelsea Football Club.
Chelsea 2-0 up here as the ball is scooped forward into the area. Dewsbury Hall, little back heel looking for Palmer. It's well defended by Theo Magnin. If you want to react to this game, you can join the Sports Bar over on Talksport from 10 o'clock tonight. 0371722 3344 is the number. Chelsea fans, have you seen signs of progress tonight, or are you a little bit concerned that your team have made such heavy weather against, on paper, far inferior opponents? Get your calls in. I'm sure Jamie O'Hara would love to hear from you as Servette come forward for potentially their final attack. Well defended on the edge of the area by Benoit Badiashile, who slides in and steers the ball out of touch left-footed. Throw in taken quickly on that far side. None of those away fans are leaving early, hoping there's still one big moment for their team ahead of that second leg in a week's time. The ball slid forward to Magnin. Magnin into the area. Oh, there is an opportunity, and it's another smart stop to deny Guillemot. Midway inside the area, right-footed, instinctive finish, and punched away by Jorgensen. And that's the final action of what's been An interesting night at Stamford Bridge. It's the first victory of the Enzo Maresca era. He doesn't carry the expression of a completely happy home manager. They were booed off at half-time, Chelsea. They made the perfect start to the second half when Christopher Nkunku was sent tumbling by the goalkeeper, Jeremy Frick. He stepped up and tucked away the penalty himself, and Nkunku for his first ever goal here at Stamford Bridge. And then Noni Madueke off the bench with an emphatic right foot finish at the near post, doubled the lead, and surely has put 1 foot for Chelsea in the Conference League. But Scott Minto, it wasn't comfortable for large periods.
No, and I was just sort of thinking, please don't ask me for a man of the match. Honestly, I'm going through the team, and I'm not saying everyone's been really poor, but no one has stood out more than anyone else. It's been 6 out of 10s really for everybody. Look, go back to it. It's 9 changes from the weekend. It's 6 full debuts. We know there's all the people that have come in almost every single transfer window over the last couple of years, and more so here as well. Very difficult to get a team to gel, and it's going to take time throughout the season as well. But yeah, I don't think that was a 2-0 game, and 2 really good chances for Servette at the end. They genuinely will believe, Crookie, that actually, even though they're 2-0 down, they score an early goal, they're right back in this tie.
I'll ask you the question again. How many players who came into that team tonight? 9 changes from Sunday. How many would you expect to start at Molineux at the weekend?
I think Moises Caicedo will start, not necessarily because he was brilliant tonight, but I think he is a first teamer. I think the 2 centre-halves did okay, but nothing more than that, and I wouldn't be surprised if we go back to the 2 centre-halves that were there on Sunday. Renato Vega looked comfortable when he went into midfield, but didn't really do too much. Defensively, again, was okay. You know, got caught a couple of times, but actually looked pretty comfortable. Axel Disasi, well, he's no Malagusto or Reece James, so I don't think he'll start. Mudryk, I thought, to be fair, looked lively, and he tracked back at the end as well. But has he got that real football intelligence? You feel like he needs a run of games, but at the same time, can you afford to give him a run of games with the amount of attacking midfielders you've got? Pedro Neto, I think, showed glimpses, but if you're going to spend 50-odd million for him, then he's got to play. It's as simple as that.
But that's the trouble, isn't it? We've got so many of that type of player, the 50-odd million pound signing, you can't pick them all.
I mean, can they go to sort of rugby and go 15? Honestly, I've no idea in terms of the amount of centre-halves. You could probably pick a back 4. You probably could. And in goal, Jorgensen did okay, and he made a really good save at the end, but didn't really have anything to do. You would imagine he would be that guy to come in. So maybe the back 5 you can kind of pick. But Caicedo, Fernandes, Lavia, do you have all 3? Well, 2 of those are £100 million worth. How many wide players have you got? Then you got Cole Palmer and Joao Felix, who are not. Christopher Nkunku, they're not sort of wide players. Nicholas Jackson you would expect to start, but he's not that kind of, absolutely guaranteed 20 goals, even though actually got 17 in the end. It's a difficult one. It's a really difficult one.
Well, the good news is you don't have to pick a man of the match. Your night's work is done.
Thank you.
Pleasure, as always, to be joined by Scott Minto, Chelsea legend, here in the commentary box at Stamford Bridge. A reminder, over on Talksport, there is surely you've got the Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Dean Saunders taking all your calls on tonight's action. The number to dial is 0371722 3344. You can also send them a WhatsApp voice note with your reaction to this game on that number, 0371722 3344. Beaten here by Manchester City in the Premier League of the weekend. The Enzo Maresca era is off and running. Had come out on top just about in the end tonight after being made to toil for large periods. It finishes here, Chelsea 2, Servette 0. And coming up next on Talksport 2, we've got live PGA Tour golf with action from the BMW Championship.